Hey, welcome to the Best Gay Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Trevor Hoppy. Today's episode is about honesty. You know, they say it's the best policy, but it doesn't make it easy. Whether it's slipping off your wedding band or, heck, pretending to be someone else entirely online or shaving a few years off your age or a few pounds off your weight. Sometimes it just seems like Grindr and honesty don't mix. But here's the rub. We get so caught up in other people's fibbing that sometimes we forget to check in on the lies we tell ourselves. Today's guest reminds us that it's being honest with ourselves that can be the real challenge. What do we actually want? And what do we truly need? Finding sexual fulfillment depends on answering those questions without shame or pretense. Today's guest knows a thing or two about living honestly, and I truly am in awe of this man. Acep Gates is a trailblazer, living honestly, openly, as a gay HIV-positive man in Indonesia, a country where, you know, being out and open comes with a steep price. But he is out there living his truth through his wildly popular YouTube channel. Let's listen in. Acep Gates, welcome to the Best Gay Sex Podcast.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for inviting me to join your podcast.
It is my pleasure. I'm so excited to learn more about you and the work you do. But before we kind of get into the deep, tell people who are listening, tell a little bit about where you grew up and what it was like there being a queer person.
So, guys, my name is Acep. So I was born and still living in my country in Indonesia. So I'm a content creator in my country, and I have been sharing my personal journey as an openly gay and also living with HIV in Indonesia. Indonesia is quite I don't know how to say, it's really complicated for queer people who live here because there are a lot of, some kind of discrimination, stigma, and a lot of, bad things happen toward us. So yeah, it's quite challenging for us.
I can imagine. And Indonesia is a majority Muslim country. And how has that impacted you and your sexuality?
It's really complicated as I was born in Muslim family as well. And I'm still adopting religion too. So it's really, really challenging. And especially when I come out to my parents about my sexuality, they force me to do conversion therapy. Conversion therapy, yeah. In Islam, we call it ruqyah, because most Muslims believe that if you are gay, you have to be cured by this kind conversion therapy. And I did it for 1 month, and it was really horrible. It made me so depressed, and my mental health was really worse. And one day I also was thinking to end my life because I cannot live like this. So yeah, but then after 1 year, so I kept fighting with my parents, and then fortunately they try to understand me, and until they were fine that a day. So yeah.
I cannot imagine what that would have been like to go through conversion therapy. Was that a coming out process that you initiated, or did they find out some other way?
So yeah, actually in 2017, I got a scholarship to do exchange program in the US. I learned about LGBT rights and human rights. And when I'm back home in the middle of 2017, so I initiated to talk to my parents about this because I think it's really important for me and for the other gay guys who have been struggling about this. So yeah.
I can't I mean, this sounds trite, right? To say that that's brave. It's I'm sure people tell you that all the time, but that's really brave. And I admire that a lot because I can't imagine the danger and the fear that you must have felt telling your family and people around you that information. Do you think what when did you start to sort of appreciate that you were gay? What age were you when you started to feel that way?
So I think it's a long journey actually to finally accept myself for being me. But I still remember like I'm totally accepted myself when I was in the university like a few years ago because I struggle a lot with a lot of problems and I think I was so brave to make any kind like decision in my life and I try to come out as well on social media, on YouTube, on TikTok, and some of my video just like blow up on YouTube. And since then, I lost a lot of opportunities. It's really hard for me to get a job because most of the company here will be considering your sexuality, your HIV status, something like that. But after I come out, there are a lot of opportunities as well. You know, like many collaboration, many the other opportunities. I don't need to work with the conventional company anymore. And since then, I feel like okay, so yeah, how I can say like I never regret of what I had been doing. So now I'm so proud of myself. No regrets. I'm proud of being gay as well. So yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Fabulous. All right. Well, that's a journey. I'm here for the journey.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like what your first forays into sexuality were. Like, how did you start to explore your sexuality?
I tried to explore my sexualities in when I was in high school. So actually, I was staying in Islamic boarding school. I didn't stay with my parents. So it's really challenging, and it's really hard to hold my desire as well because in the school we are just like a boys students. Sometimes we shower together, something like that. So yeah, but in a holiday time, so when I'm back home, I was really curious to have sex because I never had sex before. But I watched some porn movie, especially when the guy like got by the other guy, and I had some desire. So I talked to myself like, oh my god, I want to get as well. And then I joined the online group on Facebook because I didn't know about the dating apps or something at the time. So there were some online gay online group on Facebook in Indonesia at the time. So yeah, I joined one of them and I posted a message that guys, I want to try to have sex and I want to try to get anyone want to help something like that.
I love that.
And after that, like there was a guy who chat me and he said to me like, "Hey, Acep, I can you, but you need to book a hotel and you need to pay me like around 10 US dollars." And then he said,
Wow.
okay, I agree with that. And in 2 days, yeah, in 2 days, so we matched. We met in a
Wow.
hotel. So yeah,
Let it
we
go.
met it. We met in a hotel, and I met a guy, and you know I told him everything that I never had sex or anything. So he tried to do some kind of foreplay. He touched my body. I was so nervous. I didn't know what should I do. And then he tried to kiss me, and I vomit like something like that because I don't know. It's like a French kiss. something like that. But right now I do really love kissing, but at the time I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Until he tried to me, he put his dick in my hole like slowly, and it got me really hurt until he, pulled inside my hole, something like that. I was crying, and I said to stop it, like, can we just stop? And I just like paid him like $10. I mean, in Ethiopia, it's like 150, like thousand rupiah. Uh, and after that, I just went back home because I didn't want to continue the sex because it's, like hurts my whole. So yeah, uh, since then, I never had sex until I was in university because I feel like, oh my God, it's so scary. It was really, like confusing for me. So yeah, that was my first sexual experience.
Oh my God, there were so many lessons there. Like along the way, I can't imagine meeting someone like that for the first time in a hotel.
Yeah.
That must have been really scary. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the lubricant as well.
Yeah, right. I mean, how would you? Right? There's no guidebook you get, unfortunately.
Yeah, because
do you feel like you learned? You watch pornography. Do you feel like that was helpful, or do you think that was like not helpful in terms of learning?
So actually, it's not helpful for like learning about sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks so easy there, right? It's just like, whoop, it happens. You're like, oh my gosh. And then real life is obviously different.
Yeah.
You had these fantasies of being a bottom, basically, it sounds like, right? Is that a term that you identify with?
Yeah. So I identify myself as a bottom right now, even after the accident, like when I was in high school. So since I try as well to, but I was still curious to be a bottom, and eventually I try again, until I do really enjoy it. Like until right now.
Yeah, practice makes perfect for sure when it comes to bottoming. How did you find guys in university? Like where would you meet men to explore your sexuality?
So when I was in university, I started using dating apps. So it's made me easier. So yeah, I met some guys from that.
And in Indonesia, is that Grindr, or is it like Hornet? What apps are popular there?
Still Grindr. Even our government blocked the Grindr, but we're still using like the CPN, so we can still use it. Yeah. The most popular thing, I think, like Grindr, Hornet, and Voila.
And when you're using a VPN, because I'm just curious for people, in the United States and other places where the government is not blocking these websites, when you use a VPN, you're basically pretending to be somewhere else, right? Like your phone is like sending a signal that you're in a different location. Is that right?
Yeah. So actually, only I don't know how to say, like it's like the internet things, but the location is still on dating apps. The location is still the same in Indonesia. So there is no different. Yeah, there is no different.
It's just the internet is coming through. Sorry, this is like so stupid question. I wasn't sure how it worked. So you can still see that people are close by, and they really are close by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, that was my silly question. So you're meeting guys on the apps. What were those early experiences like? Do any jump out as you as like particularly where you kind of learned something important about your own sex life?
Yeah, meeting a lot of guys, especially on dating apps, I learned a lot of things, not only about sex actually, but also to know what I want. I also like learning more about, the racism on dating apps and the gay community sometimes, and body shaming, something like that. Because on dating apps, we are dealing with a lot of things like body type, skin colors, or something like that. Um, yeah, and meeting a lot of guys as well helped me to find something that makes me great in sex. Like, for example, for the position in sex, which one I, like the most prefer, something like that. So yeah.
Hmm. How do you think you learned? Like, I guess sometimes I feel like I learn through bad experiences. Like, oh, that really wasn't good. Were there any particular experiences that you remember as being like, oh, that sucked, or that was bad, and then you like corrected the course for the future to find better experiences?
Oh yeah. One of the worst experience while I was meeting with some guys is they were always judging my femininity, because I'm a bit girly, I'm a bit feminine. So it's still a big deal for most the gay guys here. So one day I met a guy and he came to my hotel and he looked at me and he he asked me, "Oh, are you working with the government or military? Because your body looks a bit, like a masculine." But when I start talking with him, and he said like, "Oh my God, your body looks masculine, but the way you talk is like a girl. So I don't really like it," and blah blah blah. And yeah, we didn't have sex. So I think that's the worst experience for me. And the other thing would be like when some guys didn't understand how they bottom. Like some of the bottom, like me, I need something slowly before they, like they slap me. They need to be slowly first. But some of the guys that I met, they just like, and it was, oh my God, I didn't, I don't really like that because it really hurts my whole. Yeah.
It can be very painful. But
Yeah,
so for the first experience with the kind of femme shaming, is there a way that you try to like seek out men who are comfortable with that? Like, have you found ways to like screen out guys who are kind of, we would say in the States, like mask for a mask as like the catch phrase that some guys use?
Yeah. Um, Most of the guys here always ask us before men, and most of them like ask me, "Are you feminine or not?" And since then, I always say like, "Yes, I am." So so since then, they just maybe like consider things when I told them that I'm a feminine, something like that. But fortunately, there are a lot of guys as well who, like could accept our femininity. So yeah. So I mean, I just don't want to waste my time with the guys who cannot accept me for who I am. So yeah.
Amen to that. I feel the same. I feel the same. It's like a balancing act because I don't think of myself as particularly feminine. Like that's not a word I would really relate to very strongly, but a lot of guys read me as feminine. So I never know how to answer that question when guys are like, "Are you masculine or feminine?" I'm like, it feels like either answer is wrong, right? Like neither one is really true. But I agree that like I will tend to say feminine more often just because I know that's what it's like. They're trying to screen out too, and if they care about it, it's usually because they're not okay with femininity. So I'm like, ugh, I don't want to waste my time either. It is a waste of time.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. And for the second part about the guys going too fast, like how is there a way that you try to like Do you tell guys beforehand now, like, hey, could you go slow?
Yeah. All the guys that I met, I mean, I always told them like, please slowly, but some of them just like ignoring it. And they're like, okay, but I was horny and okay, just keep going then. So, yeah.
I hear that. It's challenging sometimes to communicate. So yeah, I can understand that that's a challenge. Toms are sometimes just I don't know what they think your hole is. They think it's porn maybe or something. In general, other than those things that we just talked about, like what do you think makes sex bad?
Thing that makes sex bad, I think when the guy like less than 10 minutes.
A quickie.
Yeah. So actually I'm not really into quickie. So I'm a kind of guy who needed time to enjoy the sex. So I'm not really into like the rushing thing. So yeah. And sometimes I do really love long sex, like more than 1 hour. Yeah, something like that.
Definitely. The quickie thing. A lot of guys are looking for quickies sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know why rush it. But so I guess it sounds like if you're out there, I'm just trying to for listeners, like people often are looking for advice, like how do you avoid the bad stuff? And in this case, how do you find guys who want longer sessions? Like, what do you look for?
Yeah. Actually, it's really challenging to find a guy who can me with a long duration, but yeah, I just like keep trying.
Keep trying.
Yeah, I keep trying to make a guy when I found some guy who can me that long. So I usually like keep in touch with them, and we meet again in another time. So yeah. So I think there is no particular way to find a guy who can me that long, because sometimes I do really understand like not all guys can me that long. Sometimes they're tired. Sometimes they are like having a lot of problems, and it affects to their capability as well when they having sex with me. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. When you find a good, we would call them like a fuck buddy here. Like you just hold on tight and then don't let him go. Like keep coming back for more. So it sounds like regulars, like you have regulars.
Yes. Fortunately, right now I have 2 buddies, and so yeah, they are really good in bed for me. So we usually meet like every 2 weeks or every month. So yeah, it's a good story. I mean, like we can satisfy each other. So
yeah, you kind of know how each other works.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think not only about sex, but the things that I like from them is communication as well. These 2 guys has good communication skill, and not only for sex, but like small talk, deep talk. We talk a lot of things while like while a break when we had sex. So yeah, that's a good thing as well. Yeah.
I like that. I really enjoy sometimes learning. You talk, you learn about people, and it's fun to kind of hear about their lives. So much of the gay world on the apps, it can be so wham bam, and like you don't say anything. And so communication is obviously really key. How did you meet these guys?
On dating apps. I think the easiest way here in Indonesia, if you want to meet the gay guys or hook up, looking for boyfriend or something, only dating apps.
Yeah.
the the easy way.
And well, looking back on the experiences you've had, all the sex you've had, do you think there's an experience that jumps out as being like the best?
The best, I think, the best sex that I have, like having sex with these my two buddies. I think that they are the best of the best for me so far.
I love that. What makes it so good?
So maybe their dick a bit. One is, so I don't know how to say in English, like a straight and long, long, and the other guy like long and a bit
A curve.
yeah, like curves, yeah. So yeah, and they can with a long duration. So yeah, like a good kissing, good communication.
I like that. It sounds pretty passionate.
Yeah,
That's sweet. Do you think size matters?
yeah. I mean, like when when I was younger, I was thinking like size doesn't matter, but right now I realize that size matter because I don't know. Like every time when I got guys who has a like for me like a small dick, it's always make my cold hurts. I don't really understand why, but when I get slapped by like like a big dick in terms of Asian size, I don't because for me like we have like a different definition of big and small, right? So yeah, yeah, getting by a big dick is more comfortable.
Isn't that fascinating? Because I think the stereotype is the idea most people have is the opposite, right? That it's more painful. But I hear that from guys sometimes, from bottoms, that actually it's the opposite sometimes, that smaller can be more painful. Yeah, just kind of counterintuitive. So size does matter in your book. I definitely hear that. It sounds like kissing, passion. Have you ever played around with both of your fuck buddies together?
Oh no. So not really into like a threesome or like a group sex. I try many times. I have been trying even until right now, like a threesome, orgy, something like that. But I still don't understand. I still don't know how to find the things that I like. Like during this kind of activities. So yeah, maybe one day I will find out the thing that make me really like to do some kind of orgy or threesome or something like that.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think you know what you like, right? And I just was curious about that. So it sounds like one-on-one is definitely your vibe. And what do you, if you had the power to like set up the ultimate fantasy and make it in real life, like what would that look like for you?
So maybe I want to have sex with 10 guys. We are staying
you just said you weren't.
Yeah, wait. Still not finished yet. Okay, so I want to have sex with the 10 guys, but we are staying in the house in the middle of forest and nobody there is, only me and 10 guys. And this house has like a 10 room and each guy with each room. And I come to, one room and I had sex with them and moved to another room. So yeah. So it's not a group sex, right?
I love that. It's like the Brady Bunch or something. All these little rooms where you're just moving in.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that at all?
No, maybe in the sauna I tried.
Yeah.
Like in the dark room, there are a lot of like room and yeah, they tried. But yeah, and then but I only have sex with one guy. So yeah.
One guy at a time. No, I get it. That makes sense to me. One-on-one is definitely your vibe.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
What types of skills do you think it takes to have the best sex?
I think for me personally, the best skill maybe like being more active when we have sex because like in Indonesia, in the gay scene here in Indonesia, we're still thinking that if you are bottom, you just lying in a bed and get and you don't move or anything. But for me, as a bottom personally, I need to be more active as well, like explore what what kind of things that my sex partner like. Like for example, every time I have sex, I always ask my sex partner, "Do you like when I lick your nipples and your armpit or something like that?" Because I do really love to, like bite or lick the nipples and also like lick the armpit, like licking the whole body. I love that. And some of the guys like love that as well. And most of them always said to me, actually, most of the bottom never done that to me like that. So I love that when you do it to me. So yeah, for me, like we need to maybe like more balance because some of the top that had sex with me always said, "Oh, I'm too tired. You need to be, like more active to reading or something like that." So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So being an active bottom definitely is takes skills and what I mean, it takes muscular skills, it takes dexterity, and you got to stretch. Like you have to be
yeah,
kind of a limber person for sure. It's kind of a workout.
yeah.
So the licking is interesting though. I like that little tip.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah, because there's these scripts that we follow, I think. And so sometimes, like what you're supposed to do, sometimes when you break out of those scripts, it can create nice moments. Like people are like, oh, that's different. Like, yeah, I like doing that. That's awesome. What would be your top 3 tips you had for people for finding the best sex?
first keep exploring. I think sex. If in sex we need explore. We never know which one is the best or what kind of the best thing in sex without exploring. For me, so yeah. And the second one, I think we need to be more. I don't know, like a bit sensitive, like more understanding. Maybe like I don't know how to say, like a, a communication skill as well to know what we want, to know what our sex partner want as well. Because sometimes we need to talk about this to our sex partner and to find the best sex for us as well. And the third, I don't know. The third thing, um, maybe we have to be honest. I mean, like when I was younger and started exploring, I had sex with some guys, and I feel like I didn't really enjoy it. But I keep, lying to myself. Oh, I do really enjoy it, but actually, I'm not. So I think being honest to ourselves as well is really important to find the best sex because when we are honest, we will be more, I don't like knowing what we need and what we want. So yeah.
What do you think were some things that you were lying to yourself about? What do you think were, so you said you got to be honest and that there were some things maybe you were lying to yourself about with that you were enjoying it, but you weren't enjoying it. Why do you think, where does that come from? Like, why do we feel the need to lie?
Yeah. I think a few years ago, I met really interesting guy, and I did really like him. But eventually, I mean, we had sex. But in sex, for me, he wasn't really, really, he was not really good in sex. Like, we had sex many times, but still, like, oh my god, I didn't like it. But because I like him, like his personality, his look or something like that, I just like try to keep lying to myself, like it's okay, maybe that's the process, or something like that. And when this guy is like asked, oh, do you like it? Yes, I do, and blah blah blah, or something like that. And most of the time I always did like fake orgasm. So yeah, so that's come from that experience.
Definitely the faking of yeah, when you're faking, like if that word is involved, then definitely there's not honesty, and so that's challenging to me. Well, that's too bad, because I can imagine that when you meet someone you think is really great and then the sex is not, it's very challenging. Well, I don't want to end on that sad note, but so the last question that I always ask is a segment I called Sordid Lives and Untold Tales, or SLUT for short. And this is totally subjective, but what is the sluttiest thing that you've ever done?
Okay, so yeah, even I told you that I'm not really into group sex, but this this luckiest thing that I ever done is some kind of a gangbang thing. So yeah, I mean, like I told you, like I have been still like like exploring still like about the age like something. So like last year there were two guys on dating apps who asked me to meet for threesome. And I realized that I don't like threesome, but still I want to explore it. And then I said yes, I can come to their hotel. When I come to their hotel, I was really surprised because when I opened the room, there were like 10 guys like naked already. And these two guys like told me, like, hey, Acep, I'm so sorry. So actually I lied to you. So here they are like 10 top guys. And
Uh-huh.
so is it okay if like we are like a you, because the bottom is only you here. I was really like confused and complicated. I was a bit scared, but I also curious like how to get by like 10 guys. And then I said like, okay, it's not a problem. Let's try. Yeah, it's like 3 hours. They're just like but the strange things that I felt like I didn't get horny. So yeah, like even like 10 guys like fuck me, but one by one, like okay, I can handle all the dicks there, but still there is no feeling. I didn't really enjoy it. Even like they like around 3 hours, like okay. I didn't even come. So yeah.
So we need to rent out a whole hotel for you and have them all in different rooms, and then it would be the vibe.
Yeah, but in reality, 10 guys in one room.
Oh my gosh. That's wild. I mean, that's wild. That is I can appreciate that wasn't your vibe, but I know many bottoms would like lose their minds to be like, oh my God, you organized this entire thing. Do you think they like, because you're a very public figure. Do they know who you are? Like, is that something you have to negotiate?
Yeah. Yes. So after we had sex, some of them told me like, "Oh, thank you for the contents and blah blah blah." I was like, "Okay."
Aw.
Yeah.
So that's been a good thing so far, is like
Yeah.
people
That's the
knowing
good
you
thing.
are. Okay. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to learn more about you and the work that you do, where can they find you online?
So you can visit my YouTube channel, Acep Gates, or TikTok, Acep Gates, or X, or Twitter at Acep Gates Real, and Instagram, Acep Gates. But unfortunately, in my previous Instagram, like got suspended.
Uh,
So this is Instagram is a new one.
Fabulous. Well, I hope that people reach out and follow your content, because you are doing so fabulous work to beat stigma against HIV and just around sexuality in general. I really am grateful for the work you're doing from across the globe to you. It is admirable and just fabulous and sexy. So congratulations on being all of those things.
Thank you.
My pleasure. That's our show for today. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. And remember, if you are not having your best gay sex, I can help. My services as a sex coach can help you identify and overcome those obstacles and barriers that are standing between you and your best sex life. Find out more on my website, thebestgaysex.net. Till next time.